Hey, what's up everybody? Tim Wagner from Wagner Athletics. So we're going to start off a video series. I've been wanting to make a YouTube channel for a while. I've been researching a lot, reading a lot, watching a lot of Dave Tate videos, Jeff Nippard, you name it. Been doing a lot of things to try to not only grow, power lift, but also start taking care of myself. So one thing I came across on Elite FTS website, and actually I believe they shared it on Facebook, was a band circuit for prehab, rehab, and recovery, which are all very important things. I found that some of these have actually been used by many athletes to not only prehab and rehab, but prime the upper rear back for heavy bench days. And I've been using it frequently, and it's been paying dividends. I'm a 36-year-old man going on 37 here shortly, and I'm having a lot of anterior deltoid problems, as well as I feel like I have some impingement going on in both shoulders. So what I've been doing is exterior rotation on the rotator cuff, interior rotation, a couple variations of rotator cuff work on top of the band circuit they recommend to force blood to certain parts of the rhomboids and back, to push out inflammation, to bring in new nutrients and healing. And it's called active recovery. It's a fantastic thing that I wish I knew about 10 years ago. Between that and auto-regulation that Dave Tate has spoken about, whether I back off on some work or increase on some work depending on how I feel that day, I'm reaping some large benefits in the gym and outside of the gym thanks to this knowledge. So I wanted to share some with you guys. So starting off specifically, these video series are going to be on how to make a comeback after 5 years out of the gym, how to stay healthy, and some nutrition information that's helped me. I don't know what's perfect for you, but I could tell you what has worked for me as far as losing weight, putting on weight, finding maintenance, and playing with calories from there. And where I like to keep my macros, what I've seen work and not work, and maybe take you through this little journey I'm going through as far as putting weight on now, trying to lose a little bit of weight, get rid of a little bit of fat. Obviously you can't target specific areas of fat, but you can take body fat percentage down or raise it, as well as increase lean muscle mass. So anyways, here we go. First set of 10, we're going to do some exterior rotator cuff rotations. I take the super mini bands. I have obviously a half rack here. You can do it on any kind of setup. You can do it single arm, multiple arm. It's whatever's going to work best for you at the moment or what you're capable of doing. So I like to pull out, rotate up. Pull out, rotate up. We're not really looking for any other function right now than opening up the rotator to work on rotation and health of that. That rotator cuff takes a beating, especially through the flat bench and the standing military press, in my opinion. So as you see, I exaggerate slightly. You can stay in a fixed position, rotate out, rotate out, rotate out. It's supposed to be sets of 10 all the way through, or whatever you're capable of doing at the time. I don't know your fitness level. I don't think this is very demanding, but to some people it might be. So after I hit some external rotations, I'm going to work on rear delts. I personally like to pull my scaps back, just like when I bench and roll down, and then focus on pulling them together with a little bit of over-exaggeration and a slight hold. Time under tension, forcing blood to that specific area. You can see the mid-traps, I assume, through my shirt. And the rear is working. Hand grip you can change to whatever you want. And this does really, if you're sore, you're going to feel this, but you're not tearing muscle. Bands don't tear muscle. It's a fantastic thing. That's why they're so good for rehab. Next on the list, we're going to hit our lower lat, mid to lower lat insertions. I find an over-exaggerated stretch. There we go. Let's get on camera here a little bit better. I find an over-exaggerated stretch, feel the lat being pulled. Then I try to focus on just driving the elbow back. Mind-muscle connection, I think it's easier to make with bands. But it's something to practice, especially in the gym, whether you're powerlifting, strength training, and especially bodybuilding. When we're doing hypertrophy work, isolation and mind muscle connection go a long way as far as developing muscle. We need to incorporate that as powerlifters. If you're a bodybuilder, it's completely essential. It's a must. Squeeze for a second on peak contraction. Really feel the muscle activating. You don't see the over-exaggeration, the scapula, the rhomboids, or the traps working. I'm trying to focus just on lat. If you came over here and felt my lat, which is very small, it is a rock right now. Fantastic work for anybody looking to create new muscle healing, new mind-muscle connections. So, same thing, I have trouble isolating my left side when I'm in the gym with cables or weights. I have to isolate, I can't do arm if I'm doing hypertrophy work. So I like to close my eyes and picture my lats pulling my elbow back and squeeze. Sometimes I try to envision that the bicep isn't there. It's just something, the lat's just doing the pulling. It takes time, but it's something not spoken about enough. I know when I was younger, I didn't understand it. I was powerlifting. Bodybuilding didn't work too well for me, primarily because I didn't understand that principle and I didn't eat correctly. You think you're eating a lot until you realize you do physical labor. You're in your mid-20s, your testosterone's through the roof, so you're burning just from that. You're in the gym 2 hours a day, and you find out you should be eating 4,000 calories a day, and you think because you ate 2 double cheeseburgers from Burger King and then ate your Grammy's fucking mashed potatoes that you're getting in 4,000 calories, and you're not, on top of the fact, I'm not saying that macros are the most essential thing in the world to follow, but knowing that your protein is at least 0.8 grams. I like to be a little higher than that, but the easiest number to follow and track is 1 gram per pound of body weight. Will definitely put you in a muscle building realm. Obviously, and being in a slight surplus, I wouldn't exaggerate the surplus I have before. I just came off of an exaggerated surplus, and you accumulate some body mass. So next here in the circuit, I like to do, it's a band, it's obviously a band shrug, but I don't do your typical, shrug, upper neck. What I like to do is I try to still hit the same spot we were. Now I'll fuck around with my positioning, but I try to pull more in the mid-back. For a lot of us guys who low bar squat, I just learned that technique not too long ago. You need thickness and muscle there, and also you need some recovery there, putting some loads on that part of your trapezius in your back. So I found that this has helped me heal and develop overall. Once again, it's the same thing. I don't care how you end up trying to isolate and target the muscle. Bring the elbow out a little if you gotta, stand up a little straighter if you gotta, and pull back. I like to be leaned over a little bit, exaggerate my elbow out slightly, and almost, I pivot, as you can see. And I feel like I hit more of the middle trap than shrugging on my neck. A lot of those neck muscles are developed through, I deadlift twice a week, so I feel a lot of that's hit. I don't need to overstimulate it. Hopefully I have enough muscle through the shirt for you to see what I'm working. You have a visual. I find for my learning purposes that helps me greatly, that and someone actually breaking down what's going on for understanding. So once again, I hope this thing can take off. I hope I could help some people out. Any questions, obviously I'll do my best to answer, but once again, I'm not a doctor, a nutritionist, a certified coach. I'm just a guy who has a passion. I'm back on track after a lot of time off because I really missed it, and it's given me a lot to look forward to, being in the gym 4 or 5 days a week, starting to get my own setup here, rehabbing here. I hope to keep growing this gym down here, so eventually I'm not at a commercial gym, that I'm in my basement full time. You save a lot of time on the road, makes things more convenient. I don't have to shower and yada yada. I can come right down and bang my shit out. So that's the goal with the home gym. So those were a couple alternatives for five exercise band sets for rear delts. Another one I like to do. I'm sure you've all seen these, and these are very popular, and they should be. This is a band pull apart. Once again, see me retracting my scaps, forcing and pinning them together, and working my rear rhomboids and traps. Once again, you can add this to the arsenal. This is something you should do before you're bench pressing too. It's a fantastic exercise to prime, to get ready to, use those rear delts in the bench press. Because another thing most people don't do correctly is bench, and the rear delts, mid traps are very important and vital, and pulling these scaps together, just like this. See how they are? That's how you should be benching. And then when you're bringing the weight down, you're loading those lats, and then you're pushing up, and then flaring the elbows out to fucking use the triceps for the fucking lockout. It's all these mechanics are recycled constantly. It's amazing once you start studying and understanding mechanics and form and technique, and seeing these top lifters and how they get there. It's impressive, and it's what's even cooler about it is if you're into any kind of engineering or mechanics, this is all math and leverage and pivot points and everything else. It's pretty cool. So next on the list that I like to do, if you don't want to do the single arm delt work, you can basically do a typical face pull and pull high. I think thumbs towards you is the best way to go health-wise. Now with bands, I can probably go a little heavier for the pull out because of the progressive load on a band. But as you can see, you're still trying to focus on the same thing. I like to get the stretch. I like to retract the scaps, pull everything in, hold the weight there for a second or two. Time under tension. You're going to feel these, no doubt, but it's not going to be the same as if you were using actual weights. Ooh. Man. Now, we did some external rotation initially to start off. I usually do a couple more of those, but we're going to move into we can do some anterior rotation here. Another great rotator cuff movement is exactly the opposite of what we did initially. And you'll feel, if you have impingements, you feel the click-clack. Another thing to keep in mind when we embark on these journeys that most of us don't look into. I know I was blind when I was younger. Initially it was all about hitting a certain number, getting to a certain destination, wanting a meet total. That was respectable, but when you plow straight forward and you don't focus on longevity, that short race is short-lived. It's a marathon, and no matter what you do to get there, if you're not taking care of your health, you're going to lose everything you progress for. And that's the difference in this path I'm taking this time. My nutrition's on point. My prehab and rehab's on point. My pivoting when things aren't correct is on point, or trying to make that on point. As Dave Tate talks about, the self or auto-regulation, knowing you go into that gym that day and you feel like shit or something's not right. Say you're benching, you're warming up with that bar, and so I go quarters, 45s, quarter, 245s, etc., climbing up to a heavy set, and you're not feeling right at 185, 225, and you're a 400-pound bencher. Feel something pull, a little tweak, feeling weak, call it. Just call it. Pivot. Go do dumbbells. Go do something else that's gonna keep your health intact, because you not benching that day, maybe it set you back a week, but it's better than tearing a pec, doing something to your anterior deltoid, pulling a tricep, and then you're out for quite a few weeks, or possibly months, a year, who knows. You're better off playing it safe and being intelligent. And I'd say it's ultimately that's more self-respect than anything, and less ego, because that's what's important. Once again, another rotator cuff exercise. I told you I'd be doing these heavily. I'm trying to work on this. Got these little nagging impingements that once I warm up, I don't have a problem benching. I kind of been steering away from shoulder press the last 2 weeks because of it. I've been coming down here every day, doing these. You see now, I'll pull in. Even switch arms. Obviously, I like to do this 2 to 3 times a week. Now I'm in the gym 4 days a week, so 3 days out of my 3 off days, I'm down here doing this band circuit. I usually take between 20 minutes and a half hour to do. And then when I'm at the gym, even on squat day, I don't know if you guys low bar squat, but if you do, that's another thing that's been bothering my left front delt, and I feel somewhat in the rotator cuff is, I put my pinkies on the power line, and I feel a lot of pressure on my delt until I'm warmed up. And then obviously I'll do some dynamic work on my hips, hamstrings. I use some bands and I'll stretch out real well, get the hammies and quads a little loose. Try not to do too much because sometimes overstretching is going to make you weaker. But that's all we have for today, guys. I'm hoping to get this thing off the ground. All the likes and shares I could get, I'll appreciate it. I hope this was somewhat helpful. How about you guys put some comments in the link? We'll go over some other things that an average guy like me has been using to try to develop, and some of the new things I've learned. I'd love to share and talk about. I'd love to have a community of where we all exchange information, talk, and make some cool videos. Hoping to get rid of the 9 to 5 and, live a life of freedom and get to talk, because I love to talk. I'm full of knowledge, full of information on a lot of subjects. I'm a heavy reader, very extensive on research and things that interest me, and this is one of the most passionate subjects I have right now. So, thanks guys, I hope to see you again. Hope to get some comments down low. Talk to you soon.